Hello and welcome back to day two of our GD Life in Lockdown. I'm Andy Gardiner from Society of Strays, and today I'm going to be talking to you about our writing process or writing or inspiration for writing. Um, it sort of develops out of a similar way to how we build and make characters. Um, so, as I mentioned yesterday, we've been tracking the pandemic. Um, which wasn't originally in the plan when we started our research and development last year, because it wasn't even around. But it was like how to use this moment and track this moment in time, especially when it relates so much to our idea of existing alone together, because all of a sudden people were coming together through means like Zoom or video calling, and this was our ways of interacting with each other. Uh, so we were alone somehow in our own spaces, but also somehow together still as well, and definitely existing within this moment in time, this exceptional moment in time. So uh, this is when me and John really decided, right, okay, we're gonna carry on with this idea actually, because there's never going to be a moment like this again, and somehow it feels very right to look at this now. I'm sat down in front of my computer now, which I will, I'll attempt if I can turn the screen. I don't think I can, so I'll just face the phone round. I'm in the middle of writing a script, which will become part of an idea that we've got called Stray of the Week, which we will explain more about on Friday. So definitely come back on Friday. But essentially, it's about working with other artists. I trying to stay creative in this time with these limited means and resources. We'd both taken jobs during the pandemic, so we'd never really experienced a complete lockdown because we were going out to work and we were still interacting with people. What we found was this ever changing nature of the general public. The feeling at the beginning of the pandemic was very different to a week later, and a week after that to a few weeks after that. There was these constant shifts, and what we definitely will remember, what we saw in like the first week or so, was this just obscene need to go out and to buy essentials, toilet roll, clear the shelves, stock the Anderson shelter. So we sort of, as a society, failed in week one. As we saw, social media was a storm with people fighting over loo roll in various countries and other grocery goods. And this was just like, whoa, okay, so let's write this down, or at least let's somehow track this and remember this. Week two, the general public, people were so appreciative of these groceries still going out onto the shop floor. They could still get these items, so they would come in and be wearing the face masks, completely disregarding social distancing rules, coming right up to you saying, "Thank you so much for being here and doing this for us all. This is incredible. Thank you. We love. We completely appreciate the work that you're doing." We were clapping at our doors on a Thursday evening for the NHS, which really started off with the best of gusto, and then slowly began to phase out. And so did people's appreciation for the shop workers, is something that I found quite quickly. So we get into like week four. By this point, people are in their own homes, like a four wall sort of syndrome, complete lockdown, climbing the walls, and then come back to the shops. They now have to queue outside. We've had to regulate social distancing inside stores. They can only buy one of each item, so the shelves stay stacked. So everybody has the opportunity to buy groceries. Only buy what you need. There's these announcements going on, and people suddenly decide that they really don't like this and they don't want to be told what to do. And this isn't like general. It seemed like most people. So what had become a really appreciative nation suddenly shifted into people that weren't so appreciative of the work that you were doing, to be able to to make sure everybody was being fed somehow. And this kind of just got worse as time went on, and the more and more people were locked down, the more and more, to me, it honestly felt like they were coming to the supermarket as a release of all these feelings, to be able to target what was known as, and still is known as, an essential worker, how people react in moments of adversity became a real interest for our writing and moving forward as well. It was specifically like, right, okay, so a conversation between me and John would be this. Moving forward, I have a definite interest in the way that people react and respond to things, especially in moments of crisis. Something that I was interested in was watching like the making of a monster somehow. Not comparing the attitude of the general public to a monster, but it's just how the process shifted, or how it developed somehow. So it was like, what are our monsters? How do we create our own monsters, and what is that type of behavior? And I remember watching a documentary which was on Britain's worst serial killers, which had Myra Hindley and Ian Brady and Rose West. And the interviews with the serial killers are just unbelievable. The type of how sure they are of what it is that they've done, and obviously the lack of remorse and empathy they have with the things that they've done as well. And I was like, wow, it's in some interesting way. This is sort of webbing to the idea of how I feel. Or you could say that the attitude of the general public has changed. So I'm really interested in using that aesthetic of that type of empathy, lack of empathy in the behaviour. So this particular script that I'm writing just now, it's taken the idea of an interview that I watched on this documentary with Rose West. Also, at the same time, I was flicking over and there was a gardening show on as well at the same time. And so it was like this switch between this idea of what's happening at work, the watching this documentary with serial killers, Britain's Worst, and also this gardening program where it always seems so far out of reach what these gardeners are doing. Somehow it's always, in comparison, you sit there and you feel like, oh well, somehow I'm never going to be able to achieve that garden. The pedestal is up here and it seems so unreachable. At the same time, you're flicking through social media as well, which has still got, like it always has, and like it's used for, is everyone's best life, like the greatest hits album, the social media monster, the monster of, like I said, the serial killers, and also these out of reach sort of scenarios. So I married this idea of Rose West with this gardening presenter, and then hence came this idea for this script. It's some quintessential British, middle class British woman who's gardening, who knows everything, all the Latin names for flowers, knows exactly when things should be done throughout the year to cultivate the best vegetation, the best plants, the best flowers, to get your garden looking its A game. And that's mixed somehow with Rose West's sort of statements on how she became notorious for what she did. In front of that, or this mask in front, or this absurdity mask, is they're actually, it's not, and they're a professional gardener. So this just becomes one thing. These many ideas come together, these many facets, like with characterization, and become this one idea that develops over the series of a few days. It might take a couple of weeks to write something. It's something that I definitely go to and come away from and have a little think about. I do a little bit of research as well, just to make sure I'm saying the sort of right things, and putting the right terminology in place. It will be coming up on one of the Stray of the Weeks coming soon. Thank you for logging in today and watching this vlog, and come back for day 3. Thank you very much.